Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is the number of the beast's name. In this video, you're going to learn the most important thing in the world, outside, of course, except Jesus, because before we're finished, I'm going to say you're going to be shocked. This video is about to change your life. There's very few things in life that really change us. This one is going to change you, because I'm going to show you the number of his name in places like toilet paper, paper towels, airports, motels, restaurants, foods, businesses, logos, TVs, movies, and the Bible. Matthew 24:24 says that if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect. See, Christians are the primary target of the beast. The beast is given 3.5 years to rule, but he's been for 6,000 years preparing for that, and you can imagine he has some big deceptions all planned. Before I start, let me give you a disclaimer. I'm not saying that any of these people or companies are bad or that they've intended anything bad or evil. It may very well be that to them these symbols mean nothing, they're just designs. Matter of fact, they may not have even designed them themselves. Maybe some kind of an outside graphic artist designed them. So I'm not saying anything bad about these people. It may be just designs to them. There's 4 things that we have to avoid if we want to go to heaven. Revelation 15:2. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that gotten victory over, here it is, the beast, over his image, over his mark, and over the number of his name. There's 4 things: the beast, his image, his mark, and the number of his name. For this video, we're going to be concentrating on looking at the number of his name. And I've never seen any of this anyplace else, so this may be the first time you see it as well. So the question I'm going to start with is this. What would you do if you had to tell someone the most important information in the world, but you knew they wouldn't believe you? Well, if you're watching or listening to this, I'm going to say you probably would tell them. So that brings us to the second question. What is the most important information in the world? Well, the most important thing to do is obviously to accept Jesus. But the most important thing not to do is to take the mark of the beast. Do not take the mark of the beast. After Jesus has returned and all time has been concluded, all of the crowns and the rewards, and we receive their glorified body, after everything is all done, there's only 3 groups of people. Those people whose name is in the book of life that get eternal life. Those people whose name is not in the book of life, who are tossed into the lake that burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death or soul death. The third group of people are those people that take the mark, specifically the 4 things, to worship the beast, his image, his mark, or the number of his name. Any one of those 4 things, and they do not get soul death. Let me explain. This is my new book, which I recommend you get. Why? Because it is designed to be handed to someone, even if they're of another religion, and once they read this book, they will never, ever take the mark of the beast. 1 for $20, but don't do that. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 10. 1 set of 10 for $30, 2 sets $45, 4 sets for $70 at prophecyclub.com. This is what Ken Peters, something similar, what he said he saw in his dream that he had like 35 years ago. It's on this particular DVD called I Saw the Tribulation. It's something similar to this, and he said it was located between the first finger and the thumb in the little web, or on the forehead of the person. Something similar to that. Now, it may be different than this, but we're going to watch for it. This is the mark of the beast. This is not what we're going to be talking about today. Today, we're going to be talking about the number of his name. So let me go back to my question. Those taking the mark are tormented eternally. Revelation 14:9 says, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive the mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God that is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb. Here it is. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest, day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. In other words, you take that mark of the beast. You worship the image, you worship the beast, or you receive the number of his name. Any one of those 4 things, and you do not get soul death. You are tormented day and night forever in the presence of the devil, the false prophet, and the beast. Revelation 20:10 confirms that. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Revelation 20:14 says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, meaning soul death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Again, soul death. Now, I know some people have been taught that doesn't happen. So I'll give you two scriptures that show it does. Matthew 10:28, Jesus speaking, fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Jesus said that. So yes, the soul can be destroyed. Obadiah 1:16, this is talking about Armageddon. For as much as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink and they shall swallow down. Here it is. And they shall be as though they had not been. Soul death. Meaning, if a person worships the beast, his image, receives his mark, or the number of his name, any one of the four, they don't get soul death. They're tormented in the presence of the beast, the false prophet, and the devil himself for all eternity with no hope of escape, which is why you must get this book into their hands. This book will help them to understand to never take the mark of the beast or the number of his name. Today, we're not talking about the mark of the beast. Today, we're talking about the number of his name. I can dare say you've never seen this before. Revelation 13:16, and he, talking about the beast, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. That 666, that's what we're concentrating on today. So let's start with that. How can you hide 666? Because the beast, or Lucifer, is the most subtle beast of the field. So how can we hide 666? There's several ways he does it. One is tails in. If you put 66 together and tails toward each other in a circle, this is what you get. And where do we find that? Well, we find that on the Jockey logo. Now, Jockey's logo used to look like this, but they changed it. Why change it? So back to 666 with the tails in. It might look like this. If you change the font, it might look like this. It might look like this. It might look like this. But it's still 666. And if you put it into any one of these different designs, it's still 666. Now, question is, why don't we see more companies with logos that they could be Christian logos, like the fish or the cross or the dove? Why don't we? So if they're really not meaning anything bad, why don't they have a Christian logo instead of these other questionable logos? According to Wikipedia, this symbol is called a triquetra. It's the symbol of Odin. Odin is the god of war, battle, and death. Where would you think you would find that? Well, would you believe that that is actually a 666 in disguise? Where do we find that? Well, of course, we'd understand to find that on the Craft Companion, which is the Witch's Journal. But you would not expect that to find that on the New King James Version Bible, but there it is. Here's another example of it right on the front of a New King James Version Bible, and of course something very similar is on Marilyn Ferguson's book called The Aquarian Conspiracy, which is one of the biggest New Age books of all time. So if you put tails out, it might look like this. Where would we see this? Well, this is the Lucius Company. And Lucius is, of course, the Light King. Again, I'm not saying anything bad about these companies. Maybe it's just doodling. Maybe it's just a design. Maybe it's not. Maybe they know exactly what they're doing. If you put tails in, it might also look like this. This is another way of covering up 666. I call these the swirl. Here's a lady that bought a $9,000 artwork for $12 at a Goodwill store, and she's so proud of it, but what she doesn't understand is within this is 666. Here is a Christian symbol of a cross, but it has the swirl on it, the 666 swirl. Here's another one, 666 swirl. Now, again, I'm not saying anything bad about these companies. Maybe it's just doodling to them. Now, let me show you something else. Let's take the 666. Let's take the 6 and spin it around. Now this is 666. Turn it backwards. This is also 666. And where do you see that? Well, you're going to see this. This is what I believe is the number of his name, or 666. I'm going to show you this, not just here and there, but every place. I'm going to show you this around the globe. I believe this will be proven to be the number of his name. Here is a comedy, Pokemon, and right on his head, 666. Very subtle. Now, the kids are picking up on this. At least their unconscious mind is. Here is something from the Anunnaki in Bible, and the headline says, "Who were the Anunnaki, ancient aliens, gods, or deceivers?" And it has what it looks like an alien on there, and what is on his forehead? That's the swirl. Japanese television, what's on his forehead? The 666 swirl. Here's Pokemon, and we have a pink and white little teddy bear with the swirl in 4 places. Here's a purple kind of a monster thing, and there's 3 swirls here. Another one, a swirl, another one, swirl, another one, a swirl, all having to do with Pokemon. So the kids see it, they don't know what it is. Matter of fact, their parents probably don't know what it is, but they're being indoctrinated, in my opinion. They're being prepared to take the number of his name. Here is a Pokemon a pillow and also a shirt. See, shirt's probably 12 to 14 inches wide. This big swirl right on the front of a shirt. Then I go into my doctor's office, Lung Force, American Lung Association, and instead of the O for force, they have the swirl. Here's a hidden 666. So I'm playing racquetball. I look outside. There's this guy dribbling the ball around. I ask if I could take a picture. And on his shirt, his blue shirt, is a big 666, a yellow 666. Now, if you go to youtube.com, you can look at Prophecy Club channel, and you can see all of this. In case you're listening to the audio version, you can see all of this that I'm talking about. Here's a television commercial for opioid, and it has a snail there. Now, snail has a circle, but this is an obvious 666 swirl. Then I go to Heathrow Airport in London, and what do I see on one of the doors? 666. Here it is, 666 swirl in another place. I'm in Italy. I'm at a cafe there, and lo and behold, another 666. I'm in Evansville at the airport. On the carpet all over the place is 666 swirls in the carpet. We get invited to go to Malaysia also to minister. While we're there, we go to the mall, and lo and behold, at Pinkberry, there is a 666 logo in their logo design. Stowe, Ohio, at a restaurant, and there is the swirl. Business in DFW area, Ostra, there's the swirl. Movie theater, Ohio, on the carpet, there's the swirl. DFW airport on the back of this lady, and there is the swirl, probably 6 inches wide. In the movie Demolition Man, Sylvester Stallone, when he cusses, it charges him a fee for cussing, and on the little device that charges him, there it is, the 666 swirl. 75th anniversary of D-Day on Fox News, a lady singing, and in her hair is an obvious 666 swirl. Unclassified law enforcement sensitive information. This is from the Federal Bureau of Investigation Intelligence Bulletin, and it says, symbols and logos used by pedophiles to identify sexual preferences, and lo and behold, it is a triangle-shaped swirl, and it has several different kinds. There also a swirl in a shape of a heart. Here's a church that is worshiping the Lord with their hands lifted up. It's got the words up there, but behind the words, it's the swirl. Here's Dreamtime. It has a picture of 3 of these clouds, look like kind of like tornadoes. I guess you'd call them hurricanes. So it's in the form of a 666. And then they have their watermarks across the back of it, also in a 666. This is Dreamtime.com, and its logo has the swirl in it. I walk into the American Airlines Center, Dallas, Texas, and in their logo, at least one of the things up here is a 666. I go into the doctor's office. Patient Point is hanging on the wall, and in the logo is a 666. Again, in Malaysia, walking around in the Malaysia area, we see this piece of jewelry hung around the neck, and it's a 666. Here's a serpent, no surprise, 666. Here's a Buddha, no surprise, 666. Driving down the street, for the street signs, hanging on the signs, there is the swirl of 666. In Malaysia, they have some flowers on display, sensational orchids, and is talking about them with a 666 in the logo. In Malaysia, also at the mall, Khazanah Khazanah, 3 swirls in the logo. Also in Malaysia, the Rich and Good Cake Shop, inside the logo is the swirl. Again, maybe they're just designs. Maybe they don't mean anything bad by them. Maybe it's just because it just came to mind when they were making the design. On the other hand, maybe they know exactly what they're doing. Malaysia Airport, Auntie Manis Express, it's a restaurant. In the logo is the swirl. There's a big idol in Malaysia. It's about 3 stories tall, only it's laying on its side. And down at its feet is the 666 swirl. Well, on a Buddha idol, no surprise. Here's another idol. 666 is on the pillow. Then going into Legoland in Malaysia, there's the big 666 swirl. You know, the only ones that are going to resist this are the people that have read Revelation 13. So, brothers and sisters, we have to get this book into their hands, because if they take that mark, they're going to be burning forever, all eternity. We go to Japan, going through there to minister. Leslie stops and buys a shirt and didn't even pay attention to it till she pulled it on, and there on the cheeks of the sumo wrestler is 666. A restaurant in Japan called JW360, 666. Some cookies, Bingguan Solo, and there's 3 swirls in the logo. Cadbury chocolate, swirl in the logo. Disney, and Disney, in my opinion, is one of the worst. Within the Disney logo, I see 3 swirls. That's what I see. Also, here's another picture of Mickey Mouse, and it's 3 swirls. Here's another logo, another picture of, it's a design looking similar to Mickey Mouse. I guess I'd say it that way. And there's 3 of these swirls. Here's some mermaid earplugs, 3 swirls. Toy Story, swirl in the background. Beauty and the Beast, swirl. Frozen. As you recall, they had the little purple imps, I guess you called them, and they were clothed with this green carpet-looking stuff. And in the green carpet, that's right, every one of them had a swirl. And then Moana. And this is on the elbow of Moana, there is the 666 swirl. Little Mermaid, Tangled, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella. In this particular advertisement for a film festival, it has 4 of the swirls in it. So many of these Disney things have swirls within them, many of them. Also on products. Now, instead of me pointing on this one, if you're watching the video, you look. Do you see the swirl any place? It's fruit roll-ups, carnival fruit roll-ups. And do you see the swirl? There it is. There it is. Also, this is a Taco Cabana sack that we got from buying a lunch at Taco Cabana. And lo and behold, there are 3 swirls in the sack design. Then McDaniel's non-dairy coffee creamer. I don't know what it is about non-dairy coffee creamer, but a lot of them have swirls. So rather than me pointing it out this time, do you see the swirls? There they are. Here's some other coffee creamers. 2 have the swirls, 1 does not. Do you see the swirls? There they are. Here's 4 coffee creamers. 1 does not have the swirl. You see the ones with the swirls. Here's the TCM Ceuticals Digestive Support, and right in the big center of the bottle is the green swirl, a big green swirl. Here's Jell-O, the old logo that did not have a swirl. The new logo has a swirl. So why change the logo? Here's another hazelnut coffee creamer, big swirl right in the middle of the top of the coffee. Great value, half and half. It's half and half, like milk. And it has a cup there, and in the center of the cup is the swirl. Here's Peace on Earth by Hobby Lobby. It's a big design here, I guess, and it's got swirl on it. Also, happy birthday balloons with a swirl on them. Here's Hershey's chocolates, and I like Hershey chocolates. Again, I'm not saying anything bad about any of these people, but on the front of them is a swirl. It's every place. Here's a television commercial from Hershey's chocolate. Do you see the swirl? In the background, there it is. This is some kind of wine, and it has a big swirl on the front of it right there. Takis, Takis, and it has a big swirl right there and there. About 20 years ago, my children were eating Trix cereal, and lo and behold, they were eating with a pink plastic spoon that they got out of the sack or out of the box. And on the spoon is 3 big 666 swirls. So once you try to imagine what is happening, people are getting indoctrinated with this in their unconscious mind to be able to accept this logo. If it's just doodling, why is it that it's everywhere? There it is, 3 sixes or 3 swirls on the logo. And this came out of my own home. This is toilet paper from my own bathroom, and it says Charmin, and you can see very clearly there's the swirl. Then I walked into my kitchen. I even bought the paper towels here. And this is paper towel, and there it is, big swirls all over it. Can't be just an accident, can it? Then I go into my church office, and I see a coffee cup setting in my church office. I don't know how it got there, but there on it is 3 big swirls. You go to a restaurant, you see the little pink packets you put to maybe sweeten your tea, and it has a big swirl on it. This is one of my ties. And I probably had this tie for, 15, 20 years. Probably worn it many times. And lo and behold, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14, and that's only looking at about a third of the tie. It's got 14 of the 666 swirls in the tie, and I didn't even notice it till just the other day I started pulling it on. I'm saying they're everywhere out there. Here's the old Dr. Pepper logo. Here's the new one with 666. Do you see the 666 swirl in this one? This is high C. Well, there it is. See it here with the life water. There it is. This is candy at our church. You see it with a 666 logo. So sometimes it's there and no one intended anything, but I'm just pointing it out that it's every place. Here's dog food. Without me pointing this to you, do you see the swirls? There's 3 swirls right there. So I'm walking into a grocery store, and I see this for real milkshakes, where you can get yourself a milkshake. And there below for real is the swirl, right there. Then here is a Christian ministry. It's a website called Pour It Out Ministries, saying nothing bad about Pour It Out Ministries. Perhaps they're a great ministry. I don't know. But instead of the O for out, it has the swirl. Computer hard drives, Seagate. This is actually in here several times, but there's the swirl. California barber license. There's a swirl. Rugged doggy boots, and then top tier detergent gasoline. Hostess. Every one of them has swirls. Do you see the swirls? There's a swirl. There's 3 more swirls. And here's Hostess that has 3 swirls on it. So if they're going to have swirls, they either have 1 or they have 3, typically, but not always. But they're all over. Again, it's subtle, just every place. Hotels is one of the biggest places. This is at the back behind the registration desk at a hotel with a 666 symbol. This is behind the registration desk, 666 symbol at a hotel. This is wallpaper, 666. This is in the carpet at a hotel. This is more carpet at another hotel. This is more carpet at another hotel. It's famous for hotels. Hotels, walls, every place. Swimming trunks has a 666 in it. In our kitchens, for example, this was a kitchen in a hotel, and it has the glass, the little glass that they put in the little sack. Well, the sack has the swirl on it. These were cups at our church. And I look down, and here's the 666 swirl on it. Here's Dunkin' Donuts. Probably didn't intend a 666 swirl, but there it is. It's every place. In businesses, this was in Malaysia. Jelly bean. Got a big picture of a jelly bean, and then behind that, a 666. Here's a business in the DFW area, 666. Here's another, 666. Another one, 666, 666. Here's another business in the DFW area, First Eye Care, and it's got a swirl symbol. They mean it as an eye, maybe nothing to it, but maybe there is. Here's Sebria Ultra Blend, and this is on a picture of a person's brain, and it's got 3 swirls there. This is a doctor's office I went into, and there's 3 sixes. Post office, swirls all over. Another place in the post office. If you look back in the background to your right here in this picture, you see swirls every place. Here's more swirls on Santa's sleigh. USPS postage stamp, 7 swirls on the postage stamp. San Antonio, Texas, Riverwalk. Here's a picture of the downtown. Here's the Riverwalk. And then right beside that is a great big 666 swirl. It's probably 60 foot high and 40 foot across. And it's just a few steps from the Riverwalk. Restaurants. Restaurants, it's all over restaurants. Here's one called Kiva Juice, 666 swirl right in the middle. Now, why couldn't they have, say, a cross? Why couldn't they have a dove? Why couldn't they have maybe a fish? But instead, it's a swirl. Again, maybe they mean nothing by it. Maybe they do. Here's another restaurant. Swirls every place, hanging up on the wall in a restaurant. Here's a swirl here in a restaurant. Orange Julius with a swirl for their O for orange. Here's Jamba Juice with a swirl between Jamba and Juice. Here's a swirl with Olive Garden. Here's a swirl at another restaurant. Here's a swirl and many swirls at another restaurant. This one's the worst, though. This has got a swirl on the back of the chair, a swirl up on the wall. It's got swirls every place in this restaurant. Here's a place called Catfish Alley, and he's got a swirl up above the word catfish. Again, maybe they mean nothing by it. Maybe it's just a design. Here's something hanging from a ceiling in an ice cream store, and what it hangs by is a swirl. Logos. Logos are real bad. A lot of logos out there. Here's the old Cooper Tires logo. No swirl. New one looks like it has a swirl to it. Company logos. Seagate. We've talked about that one. Company logos. Tara Enterprises Incorporated. And across the top of it sure looks like a 666 logo to me. Here's another educational gallery group. Looks like a 666 logo to me. NVIDIA is very big with kind of an all-seeing eye turned into a logo there. Here's eFax Corporate with another logo there. It looks like a 666. Even Texas Rangers have what appears to be the swirl on their badge. Now, again, maybe it's just a design. Maybe it does. I mean, certainly the Texas Rangers are fine people. But maybe the one that designed it put that on there. Maybe they knew what they're doing. Maybe they didn't. I drive up to a stoplight. I look to the car beside me, and I see this Dallas Irrigation Association, and it sure looks like a swirl to me. Then here's an advertisement I ran across someplace, Marine Essentials, and it has the swirl logo inside their logo. Make-A-Wish has a swirl. Television, lots of them on television. Here's an advertisement for Cancun. Do you see the swirls? Right there they are. Television, this is on NBCtoday.com. Do you see the swirls? Right there and right there. This is Credit Karma. Do you see the swirl? In their logo right there. This is Chipotle, the restaurant. Do you see the pepper to the left? Do you see the logo inside it? Right there. This is on television. You see the three swirls coming up. Well, what is this? There's the logo again, and it's Bolero. Yes. Here is Blues Clues. Behind it, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 666 is behind him. This is on Blues Clues. This is for the children to watch. Here's another segment in Blues Clues. This one has 3 swirls in it. And here's another one. Do you see the swirls in this? I'm going to give you a second to look. Do you see the swirls? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. Do you see them? Right there. Yep. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 swirls in this. All of this is Nick Jr. All of these are comedies. They're all over in comedies. Luke 16:8 says, "And the Lord commanded the unjust steward because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light." See, we Christians tend to be lambs. We tend to be avoiders, and we tend to walk in love and kindness. But the other side is goats, and they tend to be more aggressive, and many times they don't avoid confrontations, and they tend to be smarter. And in this case, the devil's been very smart by hiding this in all kinds of places, very subtle. So when it comes time to ask people to put it on the forehead or their hand, they won't have a problem doing it. Here's another one. Merry Christmas, and what do we see? The logo, the swirl. This is a magazine called Live Sound, the journal for live event technology professionals. And I think it's Elton John. But if you look on stage, behind the decoration is why there's a swirl. Matter of fact, there's 5 swirls and also a sun worship all behind the stage. Here's Batman Returns movie, and there's the swirl. There's a close-up of the swirl. This is a Volkswagen commercial on TV. Guy gets out, he's wearing a shirt and has a swirl on it. And his mom holds up the car keys. Hanging on the car keys appears to be skull and bones. It's on people. For example, I found this young lady in a store wearing these glasses. Picture of my wife. She found these glasses, and the lenses are 2 big swirls on the lenses. Setting in an airport, we looked at what she was setting on, and do you see the swirls? Right there. They're all over. This is Soon He, one of our deliverance ministers at the church. I asked her to hold up this cup. The pink cup has swirls all around the top lip, and then the Dr. Pepper has a swirl on it. But you see, there's another swirl. Do you see the swirl in the picture? There's 1, 2, and 3. After I taken the picture, I explained, I said, and you're wearing a swirl. What? And she didn't realize she'd pulled it on, but that she was wearing them. As a matter of fact, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, well, probably 10 on the whole thing. This is in a doctor's office. We see skull and bones, and we see swirls hanging from the ceiling and swirls on the pillows in the doctor's office. In jewelry, give you a second on this one. Do you see the swirl? Piece of jewelry, the most addicting shopping site for women, Top Hatter. It's got a picture of some kind of, I guess it's a bracelet. And do you see on the bracelet, do you see the swirl? Right there. Here's a couple more pieces of jewelry with a big swirl. Here's a couple more pieces of jewelry, a swirl. Now on this one, it has about 33 some odd pieces of jewelry here. How many swirls do you count in this jewelry? Give you a second to look. Here we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of those pieces are swirls. 666 swirls in their jewelry. This is obvious. 3 6s. I mean, how do you get more obvious than that? 666 right there. And on Bibles. Bibles? Oh, yeah. It's on Bibles. This is the NIV, and do you see the swirl? Right there. This is Revealing Jewish Roots and Power, One New Man Bible, and there is the 666 right on the spine. In movies, this is Epic Hero. Do you see the swirl there? Right there and right there. This is Home, and instead of the O being an O, it's a swirl. Here's a larger version of it. And then Great and Powerful, Disney's Oz. And of course, you can imagine there's swirls all over in this one. Like, for example, there. All over in this picture. More swirls every place. I mean, go on and on with this. Here's GQ Style magazine. It's got a picture of your anniversary issue 10. But the 10, 0 is not a 0. It's a swirl. Here's Time magazine, Eat Butter. And on the picture, why, the butter's in the shape of a swirl. Now let's look at Google. Look here. You see, because we not only see 666 and 3 swirls, but we also on the outside see the triquetra out on the outside too. Then here's Google again with 1, 2, 3 swirls in it. Here's another Google logo with a swirl, another one 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 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 swirls, all in their little Google logo. Here's another one. Google and there's the swirl. Google and there's the swirl. Google and 1, 2, there's the swirl. Now, most important thing is to accept Jesus. Second most important thing is to never take that mark. Don't worship the beast, his image, receive his mark or the number of his name. That's what this book is all about. You get this into your hands of your friends, your neighbors, your children, your people, all the people around you love. You get this book into their hands. If they'll read this book, short book, matter of fact, we specifically make it out of thin paper. We want it to look thin, so when you hand it to them, they will say, oh, that's a skinny little book. I can read that real fast. That's right. Because if you'll read this book, you'll never take that mark of the beast. You never will. 1 for $20, but don't do that. We offer them sealed sets of 10. One set of 10 is $30, two sets $45, four sets are $40 for $70. Four sets of 10, 40 books for $70. That gives you, they're like $1.75 each. You can hand them out. Hand them out to all your friends and neighbors and relatives. Second book I recommend you get is this book. So what happened was, and let me give you all credit, because give the Lord credit, because none of this would have happened without him. I wouldn't have seen this world. I wouldn't have had any of this information. All of this comes from the Lord. So what happens about 3 years ago, I began to memorize the book of Revelation. Just going to be a project. Didn't know anything special was going to happen. But I began to get revelations. Matter of fact, I got 30 revelations, 2 visions, and an audible voice. The audible voice said the 7 seals play over 7 years, the 7 trumpets play over 7 months, and the 7 vials play over 7 days. Once researching it, I saw that that was correct. But anyway, all of this I put into this book. Now, I've been in prophecy for 40 years, doing a radio and TV program on it for, 26 years. But I did not know anything that's in this book. And so I'm going to dare say you don't either. This is all new information. What happened was God showed me in one of those visions that there is a secret door that links the word first fruits in Leviticus 23 to the word first fruits in Revelation 14. And when you link that word, all of a sudden, the prophecies that are out of order in Revelation can be put in proper chronological order. In other words, for the first time in history, Revelation can be put in proper order because it's not written in proper order. It jumps around, okay? So you'll be able to understand it. One prophetic word said this: there's a lock I put over a word in the book of Revelation, and I'm going to open it to you. And it will turn many books written on the end-time message into obsolete books. That's this book. 1 for 20, but don't do that. We recommend getting 5 for 30 or 10 for 55 and get a whole case of 60 for $2.50. The books you can get at prophecyclub.com. You can also watch up to 300 DVDs instantly at watchprophecyclub.com. You can watch our YouTube at Prophecy Club channel, and I also recommend you come to our Sevenfold Miracle Crusades. A number of years ago, God spoke to my heart and said He's calling me to raise up an army of end-time prophecy teachers working miracles. An army of end-time prophecy teachers working miracles. In other words, when the end times hit, when the trouble hits, to have an army of people out there that is able to give an answer. So that's what we do at the Sevenfold Miracle Crusades. We're preparing you for those days. If you're watching or listening to this right now, that means you're called to do this. People don't watch or listen to this stuff unless they're called to do it. From April 8 through 12, 2020, is our next Sevenfold Miracle Crusade. We'll break our 3-day consecutive fast together at Passover meal. Then we'll walk through and observe Passover, unleavened bread, and first fruits. These feasts in preparation to sevenfold miracles, which we're praying to receive. Leslie will teach through her School of the Prophets, and I'll teach you how to teach Bible prophecy. Lou and Soon He will teach deliverance, and my daughter Leslie Ann will conduct praise and worship. It's going to be an awesome time. Go to sevenfoldmiraclecrusades.com and get signed up. So, in summary, download the Prophecy Club app, order Miss the Mark, order Secret Door to Understand Prophecy at prophecyclub.com, sign up to come to the Sevenfold Miracle Crusade, and when you do, get the meal packet. Get the meal packet and accept Jesus to be your Lord and Savior. Do that, and I will see you in heaven.